A
Oh man, we're live.
Oh, and we are going to be live streaming now.
Oh, because we got a connection. Woo! Oh my God, I look so.
You would not believe the difference in the office we're in now and the office.
Oh no, I gotta keep. Now I gotta title this broadcast, and this is
We are in a investment. What's it called? Ed Schwab.
Meeting.
We have a federal office in Schwab building.
Meeting with
Now, what do you think about that?
Senator Blunt
But we're here.
to urge
I took a picture of
you
it
know, everybody
because
can
I
hear
got
this
it.
on the Ustream.
Oh,
Equal rights.
I gotta walk away because I'm being recorded, so actually,
All right. Okay. Save. Now, where can I position this? I said everybody. All right. Okay. You know.
Just go ahead and give your spiel real quick, so don't hear.
You know, if you ladies, if you would sit right there, that seat right there.
Hang on a minute, hang on, I can't hear a thing. We just got to follow this order. Hang on a minute, all right?
Because it's the other way, they won't show anybody at the meeting. We don't know what time they're going to show up. There. Look at their. I have so much fun because I really share your broadcasts with your followers, tweeting, okay, Facebook, share. Oh wait, oh man, I'm just not, share. Message shared. All right. So now we are live from Senator Blunt's office in St. Louis. All right, now everybody gets to see my silly side. Okay, so I'm right here. The aid will be right there, which is very important for visual. I need some. I'll have Portia right there. We're gonna move Portia without her permission. Portia. Hey, no problem. I understand, totally. You know that already. Now, Portia's going to go back in and go, what? Yes, Portia, you must sit here. Portia, you must sit here. Okay, so Portia can sit there. Now, I'm here. Oh, my God. Well, this is not even going to be edited. I don't care. I don't edit. That's what you have editing rooms for. I'm too real to be edited, unfortunately. And I'm very good at inserting foot in mouth. My body parts are attached.
Hi, I'm Miranda. Hi,
Miranda. Portia, can you sit right there instead?
Okay, this is strategy time now. We're going to start what time? We're scheduled to start at 2, correct?
Yeah. I don't know, what are we doing? I was just going to have a meeting.
We are. But hang on for a minute. I'm sorry. Whoever I talked to on the phone who confirmed this, first of all, I'm Portia Porch.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I explained whoever I spoke with that there would be people from across the country joining this meeting telephonically. At 2 o'clock is when the meeting is scheduled to start, correct?
Yes.
That's my understanding?
Yeah.
So I don't want you to think I'm being rude, but right now I'm getting people from all over the country on a conference
I don't
call.
really have any information to give you, so I'm just here to listen. So there's
Well, we understand.
Yeah, this is
We
an
know that.
educate your legislator meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. This one, Angie.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and I'm going to get Godfather Bob on the line.
All right. Well, then I'll come back at 2.
All right, thank you, my dear.
Okay.
Okay, Godfather Bob. Okay. Hello, Godfather Bob. This is Helene.
Yes.
All right. So we have a meeting starting in about 13 minutes, and I have you on speakerphone, and we're just gonna be patiently waiting while all this, while everybody is briefed on what's gonna be taking place in a few seconds. But the meeting won't actually start for about another 13 minutes.
Okay, now, who is me?
Wonderful. Okay.
This is
Yeah.
okay. So this will be with Senator Roy Blunt's district office in the St. Louis region, and we're currently in the conference room.
Yes, now.
That'll come up, that'll
What's
come
the
up. Hang
senator's
on,
name
because
again?
when-
Senator Roy
There's another
Blunt's
person.
office.
Listen,
Senator
I
Roy
don't
Blunt.
want to sound rude to you, but I mean,
Let's see, okay, well, you have to spell it again.
Roy, R-O-Y,
Yes,
B-L-U-N-T,
G-R,
B as in boy, L as in Larry, U as in United, N as in night, T as in Tom,
Brunt.
Blunt.
Yes, okay. And he's a senator from St. Louis.
He is a U.S. Senator.
Yeah, he's a U.S. senator.
Yes, one of the two from the Missouri, from the state of Missouri.
All right. Will he be speaking at the meeting, or am I going to be speaking with him, or what?
We're going to be speaking to the legislative aide who will be listening to all that we have to say so that they can then take it back to their legal counsel team for analysis to see whether or not they will come on board to co-sponsor. And this is very important as we need to move both parties forward, as we are a nonpartisan group that is promoting this as a nonpartisan issue, as it is a nonpartisan issue. And so,
Yes, well, now, wait a minute. Is this senator a different party from Senator McCaskill?
yes, this is a Republican fellow.
Yeah. Yes, maybe, well, you may be interested in my name then, because of course, most Coolidges are.
Yes, I agree, and I think that is something that you should most definitely speak to from an individual point, because you can both speak as an individual and as a fellow Katrina's Dream board member. So individual, be clear to say individual when you're speaking to that point, and then when we and differentiate when you speak as a fellow Katrina's Dream board member. I think that would be beautiful if you did that, because yes, most definitely. But you see, what I would say there is that while Thomas wasn't, that as a family over the course of time, you personally feel that that was not a statement. You know how to word things better than I do here, but I would say that this is about moving the nation forward, because that was then and this is now.
We do it all the time. We just did it at Carroll House. Doing that with I've got so many names in my head here. Allison, I don't know, she, the name that we were on, we got called out at the last minute, and she is she helps in the office of program and outreach. And so this is just something we do, and we want to celebrate some of the work. First of all, it's our way to say thank you for giving us time, and to celebrate the fact that he's going to the solution to these issues. So please don't think that out of that. We want publicly through social media, thank this Senator about another way that they can do. So this is all going to be positive. Oh, I mean, we're the one here.
Can you guys have that conversation in here, please?
I was telling her
Can we
that-
have this conversation
Oh, sure.
here?
We're telling her,
Yes,
I'm
thank you.
telling her that this is a way to celebrate our legislators who
Okay,
will
so I
welcome us.
really like it, so for
Absolutely.
proper documentation.
Sure. So
that-
our goal is
Okay,
to
sorry about
celebrate
the ball.
and to thank, and so please don't forget.
Oh, all right, okay.
The lady that's meeting with us was kind of taken aback a bit because we've got all this technology going, and so I was explaining it to her. So in our tweets, be sure to thank the rep, Senator Blunt, for receiving us. Okay. I'm getting directions here.
I'm sorry.
Sure, go right ahead. You're not on speakerphone now.
Oh, no, second seat, so she can sit there.
In what way do you want to give me an example, please?
For by other people.
Yeah, you go ahead and pick that up, Tammy. Use your gut, I trust you.
But anyway, I mean, it's okay if you tell people that I haven't said this, but I don't think it's something that I would want to pick up myself. Because especially with women's rights.
Okay, I agree, and I think it's fabulous, but right now, I think we have 20 minutes, and we're getting ready to start, and who just came on the line, please? Who just came? Bettina, hi, I'm so glad you made it again. Bettina, would you be willing to address the same issues that you did this morning? Wonderful, okay, and, we've got like 4 minutes before we start. Somebody else may come on the line. Eileen, what would you?
I have
know
to
you
put
said
you,
were just-
you're not, I
Eileen,
have
are
to
you
wrap
there?
up this part of the conversation, because we're getting ready to have the meeting, but you'll be listening to everything that's said, and like we did the last time, you will chime in at the very end, and you'll bring the power of Thomas, your great-great-grandfather.
And will you pick, okay, so Candy, will you wrap that up in, or pick that up in your statement? Okay.
I'm sorry, I will make sure that we have all these
Cool.
things sent to you. We now have a strong growing coalition, so it's going to work out better. I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna be quiet now so that we can have, when they come into the meeting, and just be patient and it will all go well, okay? So I'm putting you on speakerphone, but you and I are gonna be quiet now until the meeting is, everyone joins the meeting, okay? All right, thank you. How are you doing over there, my dear? All righty. Say this again. I know. But now we have this. Look at, you see that? We don't have to now that worry about that anymore because we're live, and while we don't have any viewers at this moment, we now have it. Look at my vanity comes out. I start going like this. Oh, how do I look? I like teasing, but I'm not a vain person.
Well, I'm at Senator Wald's office right now. Is that everything okay? I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what it means. Probably. Is this something we can take care of? Seriously? For when Thursday?
Last.
We should put him on
Yeah, I
last.
did.
Okay, so
I
Rob on the
did.
bottom. And okay, so you just came on the line.
I just don't know what that's going to be.
I got even really good. Thank you so much.
Where are you at?
Then, this meeting is probably going to go like 2 minutes. They went last I talked to them on the telephone, they said we give us 20 minutes. And so, for the last, the way this is going to work is I will put you on number 5, and then 10 will be number 6. Okay, I think we're ready to go, guys. We're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm sorry about all this.
No, you walk.
Yeah, if you don't mind, that way, because this is just a tight group. I'm hoping to get her over here so we don't have to scream at each other
Okay.
across the table.
Okay, I'm putting
Yeah,
on the
no, I don't know what happened to
speakerphone.
her.
I don't either.
All right. Anyway, she'll be back in a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll just open up since we're compressed for time. Bye, dear. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's stay focused here. Okay, so I'm just going to open up the meeting very quickly because we are somewhat compressed for time. And I have on speaker phone, who's listening to everything, my late husband's godfather, the Reverend Robert T. Coolidge, former family archivist for the Monticello Association and a number of other groups. My name is Helene Swanson. I'm a founding member of Katrina's Dream, as well as on the board of directors. As you're aware, I am on a pilgrimage across the United States to promote the passage of the ERA. For as a Christian, my social justice activism is an expression of my faith. And so I'm not going to bore everybody here because of the time, and we can always do follow-up later. This is just, as you and I both know, this is first contact. This is not serious time. This is building a bridge so that we can come to the table and move everyone forward on this issue. So of course I understand the big picture, and this is just simply to start working together in moving the United States forward, in having it included in the U.S. Constitution, and also asking that Senator Blunt reach out to fellow elected officials here on the state level to promote Missouri ratifying, because it is my hope and goal that Missouri show, as the show me state, that the USA is for the ERA and that is here to stay. Because the ERA is not about pro-choice or pro-life. That was decided in Roe versus Wade as a matter of privacy, as a health issue. So it's not about that. It's about empowering women, reaffirming the rights of men, and providing a constitutional amendment for our brothers and sisters in the LBGT community, because we sure don't want to continually having all these states go up and down as issues arise. So it's about cost effectiveness of running a government, our country, and moving it forward. Because if I understand the Republican platform, we're trying about deregulation. We need a uniformity here. So it's very important that we all get on the table at the same time. So that being said, Portia, take it away.
Okay, thank you. Somebody just came on the line. Could you identify yourself, please? Who was the last person that just clicked in?
This is Lisa Longo. I
Okay.
clicked on a few minutes ago.
Wonderful. Lisa, right, L-I-S-A?
Yes.
Okay, who just came on the line, please?
This is Jane, but I can't talk because I have the kids, so.
Say what? I'm sorry?
This is Jane, but I can't talk because I have the kids, so I'm going to mute myself out.
Well, when it's time, we don't care. We love children. This is a child issue too, so if there's a few babies in the background, that just adds power. Their little voices are powerful. So I'm gonna start by introducing myself. I am so sorry you've told me your name 3 times, but
Mary Beth.
Mary Beth, thank you for having us here today, and thank you for allowing us to use this wonderful social media. But my name's Portia Bolger, and I'm from Chillicothe, Ohio, and I am Katrina's Dream, the pilgrimage part of Katrina's Dream Ministry, the grassroots organizer and social media person. I'm 62 years old, and one of the things that I really need and want for myself as a woman, and for all the women, including you, is for us to have full equality under the law in the United States. So that I'm here today to ask Senator Blunt to please sign on to SJ Res 15 to remove the ERA deadline. On the phone, we have women from all over the country, I'm proud to say, and the way we do this is to ask each person on the line to say who they are, what city and state they live in, and what organizations they represent. The goal then is for them to give you a couple of reasons, talking points, why the Equal Rights Amendment is so important, and we just go down through the line. And if there's a wee bit more time, there can be discussion. You're in charge of this meeting, so, and then Helene will put one of her board members from Canada on the line to speak, Reverend Coolidge.
Yes.
And then Helene usually ends with a few statements asking who, what, when, and where, and we go from there. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfectly.
Alrighty then, Candy, would you please introduce yourself, and we'll go from there.
Sure, I'd be glad to. This is Candace Graham, and I'm from Virginia, one of the states that has not yet ratified the ERA. Last year, when we introduced it to our General Assembly, we described it as being a nonpartisan issue that deserves bipartisan support. This is an economics issue, and the Economic Policy Institute's research demonstrates that when women have economic and employment parity, that they are able to move off of public assistance roles, and that is something that we all want. Based on this testimony, the ERA bill passed with bipartisan support in the Virginia Senate. The Virginia House of Delegates, however, is requiring that the deadline for ratification be removed before they will move forward. And that is why these bills in Congress to remove the deadline are so critical, and why Senator Blunt's support is so important to us. And thank you so much for this time.
Thank you, Candy. Bishop Joe, I apologize. Will you go ahead and introduce your full name and?
Of course. Of course. My name is Joe Morris Doss. I'm a bishop of the Episcopal Church and president of Threshold, an international ecumenical organization, Boston Reformed Church. I've served in New Jersey, California, and Louisiana. I'm president of New Orleans, Louisiana. I come to this with 2 perspectives, 2 reasons for believing in the ERA. One faith and the other law. In addition, we are bishop of the an old civil rights lawyer of constitutional law. So from those two perspectives together, I'd like to offer you what I believe. First, I believe with all my heart, from my own faith, that women should be as equal in our society as God has made them. We are suffering in this society because we do not fulfill the kind of vision that the church has for women. And so the organization that I have at the threshold is working very hard on doing everyone we can to restore women to the rights that they naturally have and should be given in society. Also, though, from law, and it's very important to put these two matters together, there are people of faith, of Christian faith, who disagree with me about the ERA. My own church has taken a firm stand that there are other denominations and other sectarian groups who disagree. If they're disagreeing, please take into account, I urge all Christians to take into account that separation of church and state is for the protection of each and all parts of the church. And if they're tempted to say, no, I want to impose what I believe on the rest of society, please be aware of the danger of it coming back on you in another issue, in another matter of belief. We have the separation of church and state not only because this is a civil rights issue, and not only because I believe it's an issue of the first order in moral theology, but in order to protect the rights of those of us who believe it and have a faith in what they be able to believe when we wish. Thank you very much.
Go over your name.
Thank you very much. Next up, Karen T. Varden.
Hi. Thank you, Mary Beth, for your time. We really appreciate it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Karen T. Garden. I'm the president of UnitedWomen.org. I'm based in Michigan, but we're a national women's rights organization. And I just wanted to address a question that all of us get often. That is, aren't women already protected in the Constitution? Don't we already have equality? When you look at the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment in the Constitution, it does not protect against discrimination on the basis of gender or sexual orientation, according to Supreme Court Justice Texas Scalia. So we already have someone of that stature that is basically making that statement that no, we do not have equal protection. When you look at the fact that economic inequality, discrimination, pregnancy in the workplace, violence against women, and other forms of discrimination against women and girls, pervasive and leaves women without effective legal recourse. And state laws are not uniform, federal laws are not comprehensive, and these laws can be and have been rolled back, and they can be at any time. 14th Amendment, provides equal protection of the law, but it's been interpreted to require state action. And with that, there's been intent to discriminate. Much discrimination occurs through private action, and it's not intentional, making it intent hard to prove. The Supreme Court reviews sex discrimination claims using intermediate rather than strict scrutiny, which is a lower standard of review than for racial and religious discrimination claims. And so it becomes pretty clear that we are not really enforcing the existing Constitution. So we ask that you sign on to SJ1. That's it, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen. Bettina.
Hi, my name is Bettina Hager. I'm the DC Director of the Equal Rights Amendment Coalition and the co-chair of the ERA Task Force of the National Council of Women's Organizations. And much of my work is based out of Washington, D.C. And one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about, piggybacking on what Karen was saying about the fact that we're not protected in the Constitution under the 14th Amendment, a lot of the questions that we get then after that is why not use piecemeal legislation? Why do we need to have a constitutional amendment? And I think that, first of all, the most important thing that Karen brought up is that it would change it from intermediate to strict scrutiny, which would bring women to the state-protected class status as race, religion, and national origin. And without that, it makes it much more difficult for women to win expensive and long legal battles. And I think that also just is really kind of a matter of principle in the fact that if you look at the way the four founders put together our government, they purposely made a constitution and the legislative process different. And that the Constitution kind of states a very strong principle of our government saying that we now and forever will support equality on the basis of sex. Which legislation was and is still meant to be reflective of society's kind of ebbs and flows of their ideas. And so as long as we continue to keep it in legislation, we're not protecting women permanently. We're allowing the rights that they have to this point to be turned back. And we're also not really making a statement that the United States values equality as a permanent stability. And so I think that it's really important to recognize that all the legislative gains women have made can be taken back, and that they're also built on an unsteady and unsound foundation. So I think that that is the second aspect of the 14th Amendment, which provides constitutional protection and why we need it. We need it because it's one of the basic tenets of our government. So thank you so much for taking the time on this call, Reba.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bettina. Betty Fouliard.
Thank you, Portia. This is Betty Folliard, former state representative. I formerly worked in Congressman Keith Ellison's office for nearly 4 years. I'm the president of the Women Leadership Coalition, the founder of the Salon for Current and former DFL women elected officials in the state of Minnesota, and I am the board chair of Gender Justice, which is a nonprofit law firm in Minnesota. And I've been putting together a delegation of 50 people who came to Washington, D.C. to rally for equality and to talk to Congress about SG Res 15. And that's why we're here today. We want to make sure that the message that you go away with and that you focus on is to remove the sunset on ERA, to reactivate those 35 states, and then we just have 3 more states to get. The interesting thing on that is that Illinois is very close to ratifying for the first time the ERA, and then we would only need 2 states. And so we're getting darn close here. I want to focus on 2 things. First of all, the double standard in the law, which Bettina and others have talked about, the double standard in our court system, which is ruled by the Constitution, is that strict standard versus intermediate standard, and strict scrutiny versus intermediate scrutiny. That's the double standard that we're trying to eliminate here. And the second piece that I want to focus on is the idea that the CRS, the Congressional Research Service, and the Law Review back in 1996 wrote that the removal, the expiration date that we're talking about, only within the proposing clause and not in the body of the Equal Rights Amendment. So the Equal Rights Amendment actually passed through those 35 states, and then the expiration date was on the clause. One legislator who this week, Representative Eric Paulson said, well, I'm for ERA, but I'm against taking away expiration dates. I explained back that you can't be for it and against it, but beyond that, the important thing to note is that there's already been an extension once on ERA, and the 27th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States took 203 years to pass. That's the Amendment on Congressional Pay. And so there is a lot of precedent for removing an expiration date. This is a new approach. It was, you probably are aware that the Equal Rights Amendment has been thrown into free. And now we're just asking a small movement here, and we have a whole lot of signatures on this. So we would like to add Senator Royblatt's signature to this legislation, SJRS 15. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Betty. Lisa, will you come on and speak specifically to why the Equal Rights Amendment is important?
So, my work on the Equal Rights Amendment goes back years. I think that women need this, just the protection of the Equal Rights Amendment, as everyone else has said, and I think that it will help to bring more women into the political process, which is my main focus. Bringing women, helping them to run for office, training them, and getting more women a seat at the table. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow. Okay, Jenny. Lisa, where do you live?
I'm in Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia.
Thank you. Jenny, please come on. Are you there, Jenny?
I am here, and let me apologize already for the noise in the background. I'm sorry.
No problem. Babies are wonderful.
They sure are.
My name is Jenny. I'm in Chicago, Illinois, and I represent Third Wave Feminism. And the reason why I believe the ERA is important is because I see firsthand when women don't get paid the same amount of money as their male counterparts that happen. We have a rise in violence in our city because children are left unwatched because the mothers can't afford daycare, so the easy option is to place calls on themselves. And what happens is you have a lot of young children that end up playing games. And with that said, it's also their education takes a fall behind because they no longer have time to go to school because now they're out game making. So I believe if we get this passed, that we can end two problems in the inner city and across the country. We can have higher education scores because parents will have more time to spend with their children, and we'll have less problems in our streets because parents are actually there watching their children. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Tammy.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having us all on this wonderful phone conference with so many colleagues that are here today. Senator Block. My name is Tammy Hutchins. I am the co-founder and co-director of ERA Action. I live in Ohio, in Southern Ohio, in Chicago, and ERA Action was real quickly emerged out of a White House position that many that are on this call today, maybe I think all of us, were involved in getting signatures within 30 days time limit for the White House to vigorously support efforts to ratify the ERA in this country. We got the 25,000 signatures in 30 days, and that was all grassroots. So there's a very powerful movement behind it, and it's a nonpartisan issue, it's a human rights issue, it's an economic issue, and American citizens, we would ask that your office stand shoulder to shoulder with us when we get deadline that is just it's unjust, and women out the country is doing hard back. We are not being protected. As president of the country, so we would ask that you will join the nonpartisan legislation for the bipartisan legislation as the rest of the meet that deadline and let us finish this work that our forefathers started so many years ago. This deserves better than us. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else on the line that hasn't spoken?
Yes, Tony Davis, coordinator Women Matters in Virginia. Again, at the state level, I'd like to remind your Senator Marshall that before it was time out over 30 years ago, any woman under the age of 30 or 64 went into withdrawal. And at the end of the day, this is dignity of debate in modern times. We have an educational issue because 97% of Americans think we should have an equal rights amendment, and 72% think we already do. So, the dignity of debate is a lot of error. It's all overdue. We need to have this debate. We need to get this done. We need to make the country that we need to get this debate. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, please do,
Oh, I just
please
wanted
do.
I just wanted to thank you all on the call. You know, when I walked in, this is not my typical meeting, so
I
it
know.
might have seemed a little like deer in
No,
headlights, but this was
I
very
apologize.
helpful.
I just wanted to let you know, I've been holding meetings like this since the very beginning
Yeah.
of doing this, and it's a new concept.
All right,
And
so
I-
it's
and I-
not
and I-
normal, so for
So for me,
so-
I know, so I apologize.
Oh, no, this is
But,
great.
I've been holding meetings initially, when we first, the concept of the teleconferencing
Yeah,
came
this
in
is
with
great.
Harry Reid's office, and don't worry, you know, everybody goes like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, well, I'm not really super tech savvy, but I'm really good at organizing. Coming from the legal field, I'm used to pulling together depositions and meetings across the country.
Yeah.
And so I took that concept
This is
and
great.
applied it here.
Well, this has been extremely helpful to have all of you on the phone, so I just wanted to say that
Yeah.
beforehand. Thank you for doing
Okay.
this. and
Oh,
this is
thank
very
you, thank
helpful.
you. I found it to be an excellent
Yeah.
tool. So now, last but not least, but maybe not last, because I welcome everybody to continue chiming in. We have my dear late husband's godfather, the Reverend Robert T. Coolidge, on the line. He's in Canada. He's a former family archivist for the Monticello Association. And Godfather Bob, can you hear me?
Yes.
Please go right ahead and speak up, dear.
Okay. Well, actually, I've been listening to all these ladies telling what they've been involved in, and I think I first got involved at the time when Katrina was ordained, because I officiated as deacon at her first Eucharist, and I was the first deacon in the history of Christendom to assist a woman priest celebrating the Eucharist, and I actually the year after she was ordained, she visited Montreal, where I was living and still am, as a guest of the diocese, and she celebrated the Eucharist in church in the suburbs of Montreal. But I was not allowed to assist her at that point because I was not officially a deacon of the diocese. Of course, I did attend evensong service. And I had dinner with her and things like that, but I was not allowed actually to assist her when I was here. That was back in 1975, of course, because the Canadian Church had not yet approved women priests. But she must have promoted that cause well in Canada. By the time she had been accepted as a priest by Bishop Spong, Canada actually had passed the canon for women priesthood. So they were Canada was the first to legally approve women priests. Although Katrina, of course, and her colleagues were the first to actually become women priests. Since that time, I've just supported Katrina and her husband and their ministries, and also William, their son, my godson, and when he married Elaine and moved to Sausalito, their ministry there. Which is also part of Katrina's dream, I supported that. And then when my godson died quite recently, I continued supporting Katrina. Lane in their resurrection, I suppose, of Katrina's dream. This is the first long walk she's had. A couple of summers ago, she did walk from Seneca Falls, New York, to Washington, also for the ERA. I've continuously supported Katrina's dream from then on. I'm very glad that everybody else is now beginning to climb on the bandwagon, as it were, and maybe succeeded in actually getting the amendment passed. I've always, the first time I found out that it hadn't been passed, which is only quite recently, I said to myself, well, why? And there are all sorts of political reasons. But I think it's very important to organize ecclesiastical support as well. Now that we're achieving women's equality in the church, why shouldn't it be also in the state? I'm just very surprised that the state didn't do it first, because it usually happens in that direction. But we'll all have to say hallelujah. Three states, three of the states who haven't supported it, get around to ratifying it, and the necessary votes in Congress to finalize the arrangement. So now we can see women can have equality in the state as well as in the church. I'm a bit disturbed, of course, that at least within the Episcopal Church, the Anglican Church, there are some reactions against women's rights now. But I think part of our efforts on the women's rights will discourage these alternates right there in the Diocese of Quincy being leading the Episcopal Church.
Godfather Bob, we had mentioned a little bit ago, and I don't know if you're, the Coolidge thing, and as you know, we at Katrina's Dream are a religious nonprofit with a 501c3 status, so we do not, as an organization, speak to particular parties. As an individual, can you speak as a Republican here, sir?
Yes. Yes, I promised I would mention that I was a Republican. Sorry, I forgot about that. But of course, and I am a distant relative of Calvin Coolidge, as well as being a descendant of Thomas Jefferson, who of course was not a Republican. But I've always admired Cousin Calvin for I think he was very much in favor of women too. In the I, yeah, I think I'll tell you a little story that I thought I might add about him because my grandmother, who sort of knew him when he was vice president, because he had been governor of Massachusetts at the time, had been invited to a party in the White House. And she discovered Calvin, the vice president, sitting behind a potted palm tree by himself, looking very sort of down. And said, "Why, Mr. Vice President, why are you looking so unhappy?" And he said, "My wife is having such a good time, but I just want to go home." He was the most human, I think, of the presidents of that day. And he really supported his wife. Was very outgoing. Grace Goodhill, which was a real feminist for that time, and I'm sure Calvin approved of it. But of course, he wasn't very social. So anyway, but as I say, I'm all in favor of women's in the church, and I have had a lot of experience of that as a deacon. Of course, in some dioceses now, even in Canada, women are becoming the majority of clergy, and so I have to deal with women rectors as a deacon. I can never take on positions of responsibility. We don't have the actual archdeacons, or at least Mike has just been one of them. And so deacons are servants, and that's what I've been. I've never been paid for any of my ministry, nor in my living as a history professor. So, but Katrina's Dream is part of my ministry. Still is. I mean, I'm 81 years old now, and Katrina's Dream is one of the main things I do as a deacon. And I even have a fund for the accident, which I use to support the accident activities in Canada. It is a registered charity as well, so I'm now on the board of 2 registered charities.
Godfather Paul? Yes, dear?
Anything else you want me to say?
No, I think that you have brought a lot to the table here as a member of the Monticello Association, as a professor, as a descendant of Thomas, a relative of Calvin, a resident in, I believe, Vermont, as well as Canada, a member of the Compass Rose Society.
I'm canonically connected to the Diocese of California, actually, as well
Yes.
as Montreal.
Yes. So I think we've had a delightful time, and I care about you very dearly, and I thank you for all that you bring to the table and all that you speak on behalf of as best as we do.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you, dear.
Thank you.
So I guess I'm going to, I know that you're short for time, and again, I cannot thank you enough for everything, and I'm nonpartisan. I believe that the Equal Rights Amendment is a most important amendment because I like to see the best person in office, okay? And the best person to me can truly happen when women are fully empowered. And my concern is that as so much reliance when it initially stalled out in '82, we became reliant on case law and new legislation, but unfortunately the Supreme Court justices need this amendment to pass so that everyone can fully achieve full equality. And you know, it empowers women because of the equal pay in so many other ways that we don't have to go over because that's already been addressed. But it also reaffirms the rights of men in that in the 2011 Walmart versus Dukes case, when it is now being used as primary authority to dismiss as well as dismiss men who are filing lawsuits under sexual discrimination. They're now being harmed by it. So every time we oppress women, we wind up oppressing men as well. And so I cannot stress enough how important the Equal Rights Amendment is. And as my walk is not only endorsed by our organization, Katrina's Dream, it is also endorsed by the national organization of women. Okay, and so I feel compelled to say that to fully support the ERA, that my personal preference is SJ Res 15. So I speak to that as an individual. As a person representing a multiple number of organizations that I could go through a long list of, I think it's also important to recognize that as a NOW member, we urge that SJ 15 and SJ 10 can be given equal importance, but our preference is for 15, okay? And then also as NOW, which we will broach at another day and time, but I'm just going to squeeze it in, is CDAW, which is I'm really bad. If you ask me to say what the language of the ERA is, I don't have my paper in front of me. If you ask me to say what CDAW stands for.
And discrimination
Yes.
against women.
Yes, we also need to start putting on the table that in addition to the ERA, our nation, from my travels around the world representing Katrina's Dream, my best example would be in India, where we see people continually oppressed. So, see, I live in California, but I also maintain a residence in Maine, and then I have another residence in India. Okay, so it is so important, because when we went to India and I met with this Brigadier General, Shir Surendra Pavanami, to discuss other matters, he wanted to know how women were treated here, because they look towards America as to how they're going to form their parliament as it evolves. And so many people around the world look to the USA to lead the way. And when we don't have women's rights here in America, it is setting a standard across the globe. So it is timely, I cannot express enough, when we see what's going on around the world, from genital mutilation in Africa, to the ongoing rape of women in India, to women having a hard time even driving in the Middle East. If we don't set this great example, how are we going to move our nation forward? And then how are we going to actually move the world forward so that women do not go through such violence in their lives, which affects children? Children grow up angry when they see their moms go through torture, and when their fathers are doing their best and dying to protect their families. We really need to set a global tone here. So I cannot express enough, as a member of the Anglican Communion, and as the Episcopal Church, and as the Church of North India, how important it is for the center to come on board. And so I don't normally get emotional, but my husband is here with me today, both in a physical form that has passed, as well as in a spiritual way, and that my mother-in-law Katrina made this her last dying wish. And so I can only say, please, Senator, please give serious thought. Give serious thought about how what we do here in the USA affects the global community.
And may I speak to the fact that I really respect the senator for being fiscally conservative. I think it's critical that our national leaders are very frugal with our taxpayer dollars, and just want to really emphasize the fact that when women are given equal pay, it only rises the tax base, which helps the entire nation, which helps women who are struggling because they lack equal pay. It gets them off the welfare rolls. And it just continues this process, which has been said over and over. These moms that are having to work 2 and 3 jobs are able to be at home with their children, to help them with their homework, to keep them off the streets, which also decreases the burden on the tax base because of the juvenile detention process and leading these children to the path of prison. So we applaud the senator for being economically frugal, and we really hope that as he looks at this issue, that we will celebrate the fact that he does put his signature on SJ 15 and also potentially 10, and that he does it from the framework of making sure that all the men in this country do not have to suffer economically along with the women, as Colleen pointed out, and that he will be helping to build that tax base, because we know that he is really serious about lowering the deficit.
Yes, so, yes, I can't add anything more to that. And so, you know what, Bishop Doss, are you there? Oh, okay. Oh, well, anyway, so all I can say is thank you for your time. And you know, I can't say too much, but I think everybody knows how I feel about everything. And so thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All
And
right.
when could we expect some follow-up?
Ah, perfect. Yes, thank you.
We will hold that up. That's just a precious book.
Oh, The Art of the Pilgrimage?
Maybe some folks would like to read that.
Oh, well, yeah, it's on even though we can't see it. Well, I have 3 books that I bring with me, I brought with me. One is The Art of the Pilgrimage, the other St. Augustine's City of God, and the third is, oh my God, The Discovery of India, Jarul Nehru's process on what it takes to get things going through a peaceful way, because I am a peaceful person. I deeply believe in God, and so for me, this pilgrimage is not about putting my church in the mix, but as a Christian demonstrating my faith and how important it is for this country to start looking at its moral compass in the decisions that we're making. Because I can only tell you how much everybody in India and my friends in Africa, Bishop Trevor Mwamba, former Bishop of the Diocese of Botswana, Bishop Tudu, I could go on and on. I cannot tell you enough of how much everybody is looking for the ERA to pass.
And the Archbishop of Canterbury actually blessed Helene before her pilgrimage. So this is really a moral issue, and we know that it's critical to have a separation of church and state. However, a lot of folks' morals are really tied into this. And I just want to close this meeting with really emphasizing the fact that the Equal Rights Amendment is a civil rights issue. A lot of folks are hung up on not supporting it because they think somehow it affects abortion in some way. Roe versus Wade is a privacy issue. The Equal Rights Amendment is a civil rights issue, and it's also a moral issue. So as people talk to you, please help them understand this has nothing to do with abortion.
Yeah. Oh,
nothing.
I can't agree with you more. If we could just help get the message out, even through you speaking to your colleagues, about, wow, it's not about pro-choice or pro-life. It's about civil rights. It's about human rights.
And
it's also about
economics.
And economics. These are all intersecting issues because we are at least 50% of the population, and it takes two to raise a child. It takes so much, and all I can say is thank you. Really, thank you.
Thank you so much, and I will send this information on to our DC office, and then you can follow up with me, and we can just
Yeah, we
keep the
sure will.
dialogue.
I just can't wait to see this.
Can I get
see,
a card from you so we
I
have your
just
email?
see. I've been praying from time to time here because I really am praying for the senator, and I do. I pray for, and I have to throw this in. What I do is every person I meet along the way, I pray for them in reverse order, walking back. Everything goes. So
To San
you,
Francisco,
even though I don't know anything about you, I'm going to visualize you, and I'm going to put a bubble of prayer around you, that whatever you do in your life, that you that God is there beside you, which God already is.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me go get my card, and I'll be right back.
All right. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Godfather Bob, I'm going to hang up now. Okay, dear.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
If anyone's still left on the call, thank you so much, and we'll be following up on Facebook, so please, please, please go to Missouri Show Us the ERA on Facebook so you can get updates. That Facebook event will be going and going and going for future follow-up. I'll be updating that, changing the date back as far as it'll let me until we get Missouri on. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Lots of people stay till the end.
Yeah, well,
So where are you headed to next?
well,
Are you
tomorrow.
headed east, or are you headed west?
Oh my gosh, no. Okay, that was this is why the first pilgrimage I had only planned to walk from Seneca Falls to DC,
Yes.
but I wasn't in good health back then, and my health has improved greatly. I had a DVT, a deep vein thrombosis, and by the time I arrived in DC, I actually blew off. I blew off.
Yeah.
So I passed out, and I didn't recover for 2 months. And during that time period, the people in India have been following it because, surprisingly enough, I never put this together. This just shows you how things work out. People in India, we had met through the Lambeth conference where I received my blessing from the Archbishop of Canterbury, blah, blah, blah. And they know my legal background. So when they saw me walking 500 miles, they attributed it to me being like Gandhi. So they had to have me come over because they were having, well, I'm not going to get into detail there, but everybody was having issues. So we went over there, preached at Christmas time, attended a funeral service, met various different peoples at all different levels. And so then that's when we started our partnership with the Church of North India. And we started our partnership with the Diocese of Aswana at Lambeth. Okay, so we're an international organization that has many different bishops that we work with, but only, well, just we have a lot of partnerships, but not all are out there, because some things we do by sending support, others we do by so it's all different complications and wonderful stuff. So then my husband died 5 days before our table meeting because of the sequester at the White House, right? And we were flying in the Bishop of India and his wife, Reverend McCaskill, who is the first known priest in the Church of India, was going to accompany me from the Golden Gate Bridge to Sacramento, and then they would come back at the end of the walk. But as I said, he died, so then it took, Godfather Bob has been instrumental because he is my emotional support system, one of my spiritual directors on our board, just so you can see. I didn't have to be, that wasn't part of the meeting. We have 4 people, myself, Godfather Bob, Reverend Catherine Picard, whose grandmother was one of Philadelphia 11, and then about 20 years or so back, who still does the crossword puzzles for the Washington Post, the former Virgin editor, William Ross McCoy. So we're a small team that have many people that we work with, but our actual organization is about, down to 1.5.
Sure.
I guess you know about percentages. So
Yes.
we're part of that small percentage, right? But very dedicated to demonstrating that we really need, and we see the area bringing wealth back to America. We really do. And we also see it being a human rights issue. We see it as being so much. So it is. We have a number of different ministries. But that's basically.
So where are you headed then?
So from here, because I'm going, because I got exhausted, and it didn't make sense to walk from Seneca Falls to the West Coast, so that's why we started it from the West Coast to now the East Coast. My pilgrimage is taking me through the 15 states that have yet to ratify the ERA. So because of what's going on in Illinois, well, I've been here for months, but that's part of the deal. You got, you know, you need this for inspiration. So from here, Portia is walking with me for the next 100 miles from St. Louis to Springfield. Okay. Then she goes
How long
home.
will that take you?
Oh, well, I've been on it for now 10 months, this pilgrimage. Well, because I went to India first, and then.
Did you drive some of the way?
No, I don't drive. I haven't driven a car in 10 months.
How long is it going to take you to walk to Springfield?
Oh, for Springfield's only going to be 10 days to get there. It's not that far, because we're not doing as much as I normally do. Because Portia hasn't walked before, and I don't know what she can adjust to or not. So it's going to be 10 days. Leaving tomorrow, we have to be in Springfield by the 18th, and then I'm going to stay a little bit because we're going to be, you know, that's going to be going close to Thanksgiving and things like that. And then I've got to feet, as I say, to through the states of the South, get over to Florida, then up to D.C. Then from D.C. I've got to go to the United Nations Convention
That's like
for the
4 or
Commission.
5 months away.
Oh yeah, easily. And then from the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, I come back to D.C., knock on a lot of doors, and follow up. And then I'm going to go to the individual states that we made strong connections to. And this is something I did not get to say, which is why I'm so dedicated to Missouri also leading the way. We have Illinois, where which was the last state in '82 to be working on it, and then they ran out of time, right? So Illinois is key. Nevada, because I've also spent some teen years in Nevada, I have a lot of connection to Nevada. So they're 100% on board, and it looks like they're going to ratify well. But the beginning of the women's ordination in the church actually started in Missouri. My grandfather-in-law, Bishop E.R. was the bishop of the Diocese of Missouri. My mother-in-law and my father-in-law, both priests, the children priests at the time, had a parish exchange in Botswana. While there, she saw some real atrocities taking place in the church, and it made her think, gee, that could be a social worker. Wow, look at these connections, look at these connections. So she called up her father and said, hi, Dad, I need an appointment. And of course, they're family, so they're like, you're like, well, you don't need an appointment, we're family. And she's like, no, but yes, I do. So the birth of the women's ordination movement took place in 1967 in the Diocese of West Missouri. Her first parish as a deacon was in Kansas City. Her first parish as a priest was in St. Louis. Okay. The ordination took place in Philadelphia because Philadelphia is big for, you know, founding families, and things like that. So that's why that was there. But it was but it all took place here. This is why I'm so passionate about the Show Me State, showing the USA the way for the ERA, just as the Show Me State showed the way for the Anglican Communion.
And
so I'm very passionate. And
tomorrow from noon to 2, there's an equal rights amendment rally at the old courthouse.
Okay. So you guys walking, or you stay the night?
We're staying the night and then we're walking.
Okay.
Right after that rally, we'll go over the East Bridge and thank God I got somebody that knows, because I've never done anything like this before. I really,
you know, I don't see it, and I'm a little disturbed.
I want you to have equal rights.
No, I found it now. It's just, I left myself in the car. I left myself in the car and she had to take off, unfortunately, and I know it is going to work out. And by the way, all I can say is I know we're all going to come together on this. And also, what I really feel, this is,
my husband just tried to call me, so I'll meet you in front of.
What I think is, what a great way to move the nation forward when we stop polarizing this issue, so that we can be more productive in the next 2 years, and then both parties can look at the presidential election not with this woman issue over our heads. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't it be great?
Well, yeah. So you're missing something?
No, I got it now. It took me a second to locate it all, but I just really think this is a great opportunity for people to really come to the table.
Don't forget your computer.
Oh yeah, I won't. And I'm sorry to threw you off with all this, but you see, we have a lot of people. The reason why I do this, the video, everybody thinks it's, they're all excited because they've never seen me do this kind of stuff, but I've been doing this news streaming, so that when we put it out sometimes privately on our YouTube channel, that those I send links to across the end if you may can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right,
And
okay.
totally, I just think,
I know, it's a little long.
right. So, just before,
Oh, yeah, I know, I know.